Hey guys, this is me, Warrior991. I am here today with what is essentially another long-ass video. I haven't made this since that SmashCon video, and I do not regret this. I regret that it took this long, and that I'm basically tired, because, yeah, just as this is getting posted is when I'm, like, recording this beginning part. But I want to first say, ReZero Season 3 is literally right on the corner. So I wanted to do something right before the episode came out, like the official episode, not the one that France fucked up. But I just want to say, like, I really love this series. It's giving me a reason to write my own stories and stuff, like do my own things, as well as fan fiction and other things. But I must say to my friends and colleagues who helped me with this video, thank you so much. Like, really, really thank you. I honestly wouldn't be doing this if I didn't have fun with it, as well as had fun people with fun responses. So enjoy this movie length of a Q&A, because I'm just that crazy.
Hello.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. I was actually just reading ReZero earlier. Last one.
No, all good. How far are you? Mind if I ask?
Volume 28 right now.
Alright then, right here. I got you, proof?
Yup, that's me.
Proof Space.
One person even calls me Space. So, yeah.
Mr. Space. Welcome.
Hello.
How are we doing?
Good. How about you?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
That's good.
Well then, Kiki, I am excited to hear your answers to some questions. Thank you for doing this, by the way.
No problem.
Alright, let me expand this just a little more on my end. No, what am I moving? Let's see.
I jump whenever I drink water, so just a warning.
Nah, you're good, you're good. Alright. So, MegaZero, welcome. Thank you for doing this.
No problem.
Yep, everyone, this is my friend MegaZero. For those who have been following the Follow the Fallen Stars fanfic, he's the guy who's helped me out make sure it actually is good. So all thanks to him. Also, go read his thing, because his thing is actually pretty dope.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't updated in a while, but just life things keep getting in the way.
Yeah, his Rigeliff is pretty interesting. You guys should go and take a chance at it. But okay.
Alright.
Alright, right here I have Dark Viney.
Hello.
Go subscribe
Yeah, I'm
to
kind
her
of
channel.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the middle of rebranding as of recording this.
Yeah, she's my Kingdom Hearts companion, actually. And she...
Fellow nerd.
Yeah, she's a big nerd, especially for other stuff. Talk about Pokemon, talk about Monster Hunter. She's got you.
Yep.
Final Fantasy, she's got you.
Don't forget Digimon.
Yeah, Digimon.
Or like any other monster tamer.
Yep, or Chocobos. You bring up Chocobos and that turns her attention.
Chocobo! Although I have found something that almost gets as much obsession from me as Chocobos do.
What?
They're called Picools, and they are from Visions of Mana, and oh my god, they are Anubis corgis, and they are huge, and I love them.
Interesting. I have to take a look after this. But okay.
Yeah, yeah, after this I'll send you the name of them. They're adorable.
How are you doing?
Doing well. I just had a toasted sandwich. That was pretty good, actually.
That actually does sound good.
Yeah, it was PB&J, and I toasted it, and it was so good.
Yeah, that PB&J is a good choice of things. But alright. Aside from food, let's get started. Thank you for doing this, Kyles.
Of course. Anytime.
And for those watching on YouTube, this is her old model.
Yes, this is my old VTuber model. It's pretty close to Amelia. I figured it'd be a little less confusing than Volcanica's design. Especially talking as Kyle's.
Yes. But alrighty, let us begin. So, here's the first question. We'll dive in right now.
Sweet.
What drew you to ReZero?
So, I first started watching ReZero, I want to say like back in my freshman year of high school, so like 2017, 2018-ish. And I saw a bunch, it was like, I think people were still talking about the REM confession in episode 18. And so all I saw was like the memes of people dogging on Subaru for saying I love Amelia. And then I saw like scenes from Isekai Quartet because I liked Overlord and Konosuba, and I was like, oh, I like those two shows, so I'll watch Isekai Quartet. And I saw ReZero in it. And I was like, isn't this the guy from the I Love Amelia memes? So like, whatever. I'm like, and sure enough, sure enough it was. And then I was like, you know what? Why don't I watch ReZero? You know? And then I started watching it, and I was like, wow, this is not what I was expecting. I did not expect this to be so depressing and dragging me through the mud, but you know, I didn't dislike it.
That is actually super funny that you say that, because Isekai Quartet is a part of the reason why I also got into ReZero.
That's pretty awesome.
I mean, I was alerted of it because of my friends. For me, I had been watching Konosuba. I saw Isekai Quartet. I'm like, oh, more Konosuba, just different. And then it's like, I probably should watch the other animes to get a context of what they're going with.
Yeah, that's what I did. I still need to watch Tanya the Evil though.
Ah, that one's an interesting one. Maybe short, but for now, but it is pretty interesting.
One of my friends recommended me it, but I didn't like check it out until like a while later. I actually I didn't have Crunchyroll at the time, and I didn't know how to like go on pirated sites or whatever. I didn't know about that, so what I did is I watched the show through a reaction channel, and that was an interesting experience because they really liked it. So like I feel like it was definitely like influenced like how I viewed it, and I was able to like get through it like a lot quicker as well. Yeah.
Interesting. So, okay, so through a reaction is how you were able to see it.
Yes.
So I assume if they were hyped or their emotions might have resonated with y'all in some sense for those that watch it through reaction channels. Like if they're getting all hyped up, that might hype you up, no?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, that's an interesting one.
I mean, I know I saw it when it first released, like when season 1 first came out. I don't know exactly the year, but I want to say I was in college at that time. I don't know what year it was.
I believe it was 2016.
Okay, so I was graduating college at that time. So yeah, it's around that time where I saw. I was like, oh, I really like the concept of like just. I think the first episode really just hooked me, where it's like a parody of an isekai, but like when they introduced the return by death mechanic, I'm like, oh my god, this is just like a video game, except it's not. So it's like a dark, like, because like I know they make parodies of Super Mario Brothers with World 1-1 and how he keeps dying. It's like that, but just darker.
I mean, I feel like the trailers for ReZero Season 1 was done like as if it was a video game, so...
I haven't seen the trailers, so I'll have to check that out.
You might find that interesting.
It was actually watching the openings on YouTube.
Which opening, if I may ask?
Season 1 redo.
Interesting. Like, the legit first one.
Yep.
Out of all the openings, which is your favorite? This is more of just me personally questioning. I'm curious.
My favorite one is season 3, I believe, part 1.
Season 3, part 1. Like, wait a minute.
Sorry, arc 3, part 1.
Okay. I was a bit like, wait a minute. Season 3 hasn't come out yet. Okay. Alright. Interesting.
If I remember correctly, I was just looking for anime to watch. I think I had recently watched Steins Gate, so I was looking for other like time travel-y stuff. And I found it. And I'm like, oh shoot, that's the show. I think I remember this being the show that my friend had a profile had their like Steam icon as one of the characters, because I watched it back in 2021, I believe, and my friend I had a friend back in like around 2016 2017 who was watching the show, and he had a Rem profile picture and named himself on Steam Rem for a bit, and so I had known about the character in the show a bit from that, and so when I finally got into anime and I saw that, I recognized them, so I was like, might as well, if that person liked it a lot, might as well try it out.
It's pretty interesting. That is actually funny, but pretty interesting.
It was very odd and surreal when I noticed that character was the same, and I'm like, holy shit.
So I'd imagine when you saw like Rem, it's like it clicked like, oh, it's that character from that anime.
A lot of memories surged into my brain.
That is fair. That is fair.
Not good memories, because they were memories of playing Counter-Strike, but they were still memories.
That's funny.
For this one's actually quite simple. One day I was just casually like sitting down doing nothing much, and then I went out to my bookstore in the city, and I actually just saw it sitting down, and I picked it up just because I had to read something to pass the time. And the first couple of volumes I was okay, but when I got to around, I think it was volume 2 at the mansion, that's when things started getting crazy, and I was like, oh, okay, this is actually pretty good. And then time goes on, I think we get down to like the 4th arc of the series around volume 12, and I was like, yes, this is really good. And then that slowly started slating it as my favorite series.
Oh, that is very interesting. You got through the books.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Gotta give it that.
Well. So I first started watching ReZero, and it was like 3 years into watching anime. I had heard about it, like I knew about Rem as a character because you can't miss her. She's merch everywhere. And while over COVID, I was making masks. I had this face mask business. And so while I was cutting up a bunch to just prep for mass sale, I just finished watching Isekai Quartet. And I was like, wow, I kind of want to watch the individual shows for these. I started with Tanya, and I hated it. Absolutely hated it within 3 episodes. I want to give it another shot now that I'm more wise, but not yet. And then I was like, well, what other characters did I like in the show? Well, I liked Ram and Amelia, and I like Subaru, so let's check out ReZero, because I'd already seen Konosuba. People said it was kind of similar vibes. I was like, yeah, sure, let's do it. I got to episode 5 in one night, and I was like, this is lovely. I want to watch more. I binged it all. I actually finished it a week before season 2 started, so I was like, this is everything. This is perfect. I'm so happy. I'm so lucky. And then ReZero became my life. I started voice acting November of that year, so I think it was like Core 1 that came out for season 2. And I was waiting and waiting. I joined Cast and Call Club, and then every ReZero audition that came up, I was like, this is mine. I want to be Amelia. My very first audition I ever did was an Amelia one. It was awful, actually. It was absolutely terrible. And ever since then, I have just tried out for every single ReZero audition possible, including Reverie when we were holographic. And that's how I'm here today! Yay!
That is funny that you mentioned Konosuba and Isekai Quartet. Konosuba was the first out of the 4, then Isekai Quartet, but I stopped at season 1 because I was intrigued by ReZero, as well as having been recommended. So I watched ReZero, but I watched it in sub. So when I went back to Isekai Quartet for season 2, I'm like, what do I watch it? I watched it dub on Konosuba, but I watched it sub in ReZero. This is gonna be a weird middle ground. So
which do I choose? ReZero's the only show I will watch sub or dubbed interchangeably. I do not care. I've watched both happily.
Yeah, I'll agree. They're both very interchangeable. Funnily enough, I showed ReZero to my mom. Well, my family, but my mom loves Beatrice. That is her favorite character.
Oh, I love that! Wow, I'm so jealous.
I mean, I got a funny story with that actually. She
Oh,
likes
yeah?
her little "I suppose," how Beatrice says
Aw.
that, and she would actually incorporate that into her sentences, and that
Oh
confused
my
the hell out of
gosh.
my dad because he had no context to that.
Please get the dishes done, I suppose.
Yeah, and it just
In
kind
fact.
of would look confused, like what?
That's so cute. Oh my gosh. Teach me your ways. I've been begging my family to just watch our stuff. Or like even just watch ReZero. I almost got my sister on it.
It's a little tough, but just say, hey, I got something to show y'all, and just put it. Just don't
put it
even-
on.
Don't even give them the option.
That's the smart way to do it. Okay, I'm gonna do that from now on.
I mean, to be fair, my friends had to lock me in a room just to get me to watch Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, so I mean...
What? It's so good though. I'm guessing after like the 3rd or 4th episode, you're like, all right, I'm locked in.
Yeah.
Yeah?
They locked me to watch all the first 9, but that's because they asked me for 2 years and I kept forgetting, so they legit locked me in a room with them.
Yeah, that's valid. 100% valid.
If I'm being totally honest, it all started with a game called Maple Story. It's really dumb. The thing is, Maple Story had an event back, a lot of years ago, like 6, 7, 8 years ago, something like that, where they were doing a collab with Isekai Quartet, which got me interested in Isekai Quartet. And when I looked up Isekai Quartet, I found out that there were a bunch of other animes involved, ReZero being one of them. And that got me to watch it. And honestly, it's got a really good story. And despite all the blood and gore, which I do not handle very well, I really like it still. It's got a good story.
You know, fun fact for everyone watching, she's the reason I got into ReZero. Kid you not.
Yes, I am.
You literally recommended it to me, and that genuinely is what set me on the path to ReZero.
Yeah, and then you became a problem.
Oh, be quiet. I'm not that much of a crazy fan.
Okay, you made all of your college friends watch some crazy... You made all of your college friends play that shitty game with you.
Okay, that one, yes. And it was kind of worth it, because we all had fun.
We did all have fun hating on the game.
Yeah, I don't want to go into a rant on that. Let's move on from the game. If you want to see the rant, I have a video for that that'll be in the description. Wasn't planning on adding that as a promotion, but go for it. You can watch me be very mad about that. But
We were all upset.
Yeah, we were all upset. He was just done. No, we were all.
We
just
were
done.
all... Yeah, we were all kind of done with that. But anyways...
Who is your favorite character and why?
Since it's not favorite waifu, favorite character is actually Subaru. I legit just like his perseverance and the fact that he's human. He makes mistakes. He owns up to his mistakes. He lives on with the consequences of his actions for good or ill.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I'll agree with that. He definitely does take responsibility of his actions when it's his fault. It takes him a while because, you know, we have that whole royal selection startup shenanigans that happens. But yeah, I can agree. Subaru's quite the character.
So this one changed a lot throughout my reading experience. It started off with Amelia, and then it came down to Arc 4, and it was Beatrice. But slowly, as the series started progressing, and there was a lot of characters that were nice, I think I settled. I like the mysterious characters, and I don't really count the MC because I love him a lot. I love Subaru a lot, but I have to pick someone else for this. So I came down eventually. I think it was around the latest arc finished, and I said I think Satella's a really good character, and that's just because the absolute mystery, the amount of questions, and the way the plot is told with her, especially in Arc 4, is just so cool. And I like the design a lot as well. I don't know how much I can talk about this without diving into spoilers, but like...
We'll dive into
but, like,
spoilers at some point. But...
Yeah. But Volume tells a very good setup for her character.
Okay. Okay, now that's an interesting answer. Okay.
Okay. So, I might have to split this one up a little bit. I have like, I think probably my favorite character from the anime, might be like Reinhardt or Julius. Like I love Subaru obviously, but I don't want to be like it's just Subaru obviously. Oh my god, like what am I talking about? but I just like Julius's like demeanor, like his like you could tell he's a confident guy. He's powerful, but you can also kind of tell that part of it is him putting up an act because he has to hold himself to a high degree. And I like his banter with Subaru. And like for the novel wise, I have to say Grimm. I love Grimm, and like the reason for that is probably because I got the EX novels because I was like, whoa, I didn't know these existed. Like more ReZero that I'm blind on. Like hell yeah, because I was caught up on the web novel already, and so I started with 2 because 1 came in later because it got delayed. So I started with 2. So Grimm was pretty much the first protagonist outside of Subaru for me for ReZero, and so even though like he wasn't really a protagonist in the Sword Demon battle story, he's more of a deuteragonist. I just really like grew fond of his characters because he kind of reminded me of myself. Like, you know, like he's kind of a wimp at first. Like he's like very people shy, but you know he started growing more confident in himself. I like his friendship with Wilhelm, especially in the 3rd installment of the EX series. I just grew really fond of him, and him and Carol together are very cute. So
nice. That's actually pretty interesting.
I'm one of the few Grimm fans in the server.
I gotta admit, hearing Grimm, I mean Grimm does deserve love. Like, it's pretty fun character.
I'm hoping he appears in the main story, like in Arc 10 or something, because I that might be the Felt Camp arc. I'm hoping he appears in the main story. I want him and Subaru to meet because I feel like they have to know that Subaru is the one that helped kill the white whale because he stood out so much at the time. Black hair, black eyes, weird tracksuit, always has a little girl with him. They have, like, him and Carol have to know that he's the one that took down the white whale and helped avenge Teresia.
I'm kind of hoping they do at the very least have some commentary about that, because that's such a big ordeal, especially with how their friend was apparently killed by the white whale.
Yeah, I'm holding out hope. I mean, we saw him a little bit in the Arc 3 manga, like one like small like panel of them. I was like, there they are, I know them.
Yeah, I think it's a very it's unless you're paying attention, you're gonna miss it.
Yeah.
Ooh. Well, you already know exactly who my favorite character is. It's Otto.
Yeah.
Otto Suin is the best character. He is just a little guy. And also, he talks to the animals. It makes him bleed, but it's fine. He likes the animals.
As an animal person yourself, you would 100% like a character like that.
Oh, 100%. I would just vibe with Otto and the birds.
I think we made a joke that Otto is the male version of you.
Oh yeah, no, he absolutely is. Although I have definitely gotten like less adorable Bean over the years. I'm still adorable, don't get me wrong, but you know, I'm still very much the female version of Otto. I relate to him so well.
Rem, Rem, because she is my everything. She's my wife. She's my love. She's my I would give anything for her. I'm reading Rem If right now /Sloth If, and it is everything I've ever wanted. I don't know why I waited this long to read it. I am like 2 chapters in, and I'm so in love with her. I miss her. I would give anything for her. I don't know. I would do anything.
Yeah, that.
Amelia's good too, I guess. Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I had a feeling it'd be Rem because you do have Team Rem, so I did caught on to that. So I'm like, nah, I feel like this was gonna be an easy one.
Yes, what I would give for a body pillow. I love her.
That's just hit me with the hardest one because I like all of them because like everyone's interesting in their own way. But I guess it's kind of a tie between Rem and Beatrice, mainly due to their design. But I think I would lean towards Rem mainly because of the Roswell Mansion arc.
All right, got it. Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a boring answer and then a slightly like a more basic answer, and then I have my more interesting answer. Boring answer is Subaru. I don't know. I see I see a lot of people say that, so I'm like, you know, it feels like a very basic answer.
Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I misjudged. Maybe it's not as common. But,
no, well, it's your views on it. No judging here.
Through multiple times throughout, I didn't like him at first. When I first started watching the show, the main thing that kept me into it was I really liked Amelia in the first arc. And then by the second arc, I started seeing the appeal of Subaru's character. And I related a lot to the issues of anxiety and the way that like the mental health struggles that Subaru goes through was displayed through the show. Especially at the time I watched it when I was at college, and I remember it was the scene where Subaru after Subaru's Natsuki Subaru's restart and him deciding that he was gonna save everyone in the mansion. He's trying to get out on his good side, and there's a portion where he kept saying that he feels sick and sick and sick as he's like keeping up a front of feeling positive. And that hit very, very close to home as I was feeling on the verge of like feeling like I was sick, like I was gonna vomit a lot throughout that year, as it was a difficult year. And so seeing like such realistic depictions of like mental health struggles and how it was done, and also like them getting better, it made me like the character a lot. And then once I started reading the novels further and seeing more into how those thoughts are depicted in text, it just kind of clicked into place forever.
That's pretty interesting and relatable, honestly. What about your other 2 versions of that question?
Besides that, it gets muddier and it gets depending on the day. Right now, my brain's in side story mode, love side stories, and I've been I love Carol. Carol Remendez from the Sword Demon trilogy.
It's a lot rare to hear that, so that is pretty cool.
I love her and Grimm. They're kind of equal. I just love them both. They're so fun. They're everything, especially in the Battle Ballads story. And just Carol's like POV chapter that she gets in the second part of the trilogy, where we get to see all the events of the story from where she was standing in it and how she felt and thought. It was just, that chapter kind of cemented her as like a favorite. I love her so much.
All right, that's an interesting one. What's your spicy one then?
That was the more spicy one. I don't
I
have
see.
any crazy takes. It's not. I don't think I have any like. I don't think I have any like insane takes. I mean, like my favorite villain is Stride. I love Stride. Cool character. I think he's the best villain that the series has had. I'm sad that he's relegated to a side story, and I hope that gets animated so more people get to meet him. But like, I don't know. I don't think I have too many crazy takes. I can look at my character tier list, but I don't think I have any crazy character takes.
Nah, well, I do believe Stride is possibly one of the most interesting antagonists.
Yeah, I should say antagonist. That is probably more accurate.
Anyway, so Subaru Natsuki from ReZero, Starting Life in Another World, is my favorite character in fiction currently, because I love him. He's great. I want to kiss him on his lips.
Okay, we're getting frisky here.
Yeah, I just love I love his story, like his life back on Earth with his parents, and how I feel like it resonated with me, like his backstory and how he felt like he was a gifted kid, but then like he didn't really put in the effort. Like he wasn't like all of his like praise was, it wasn't because of his effort. It was because like, oh yeah, he was talented and he never learned how to work on that talent and how to build skills. So he didn't understand that. So he felt like he wasn't like really good at anything anymore besides, making people laugh. But even that fell apart because, he's a dumb kid, but yeah.
Okay.
And then just how like Tape is able to like keep on like throwing him into the ringer and have his character go through like distinct like different arcs that further his character, and how even with like arc 7 and stuff, like he's still going with like new ideas on how to like further explore who he is, and it's great. I'm excited to see where it goes even next with arc 9.
Yeah, honestly, I'll have to agree. He definitely it seems to keep evolving despite how much growth we've already seen. How do you think the story has evolved since season 1? So, like the first 3 acts.
First 3 arcs? Yeah.
Arcs, my bad.
How has it evolved? I don't fucking know, dog. I don't know what that means.
Essentially, how do you think the anime has evolved since season 1, like moving forward into like season 2, story-wise?
Story-wise.
So moving from like arcs 1 and 3 to arc 4, that's like
just with the anime.
We can go with just with the anime for now.
It's really like explores like the characters more, that like besides Subaru, like with Amelia, Garfield, Otto, Ram, Roswell, Beatrice, and how it really like opens up who they are and how they all relate to the world and to Subaru, and how like some of them even like parallel his struggles and his growth, and it's I really think that it does that well.
Okay, and then speaking it from like moving on to like arcs 5 and beyond.
It's really like opens up the world, like arc 3 did that with the cut content, unfortunately, but arc 5 it really arc 5 and beyond, bro, the world building gets fucking crazier.
I can imagine. So
what my feelings on like how good it was, and like
yeah, like as the story has continued to progress, how do you feel it's evolved since like the first season, which was like mostly Tape's like early first 3 arcs, and how has it improved?
I liked I feel like arc 4 in season 2 really juggles a lot. I do feel like it at times got a little too handled a little bit too much. I've done quite a lot of I've watched the show quite a few times with different friends to get them into the show, and so I've seen many different people who I know aren't like dumb miss things and like miss like subtle things. That is also a partial issue of the anime adaptation of it, but even when reading, it's still just a little overwhelming at times and trying to remember everything that's happening. But again, in terms of the way that like the psychology of the characters, the stories that they are going through, the way in which the world is built, I like where it has continued to go past season 1. I think season 2 is what made the series as important to me and as impactful as it was.
Okay.
And then for like past that, for like novels, as it gets further, I like seeing the almost repeated nature of it, like arc 1 and arc 5 kind of paralleling each other in terms of like especially Subaru's development. And it's interesting to see. I'm curious to see if that pattern continues with the other arcs, since I'm only on 7, so I can't really say if arc 7 will parallel arc 3. It seems like it is so far, but it will be hard to see until we get into the next kind of
Next big season, or for your case, once you finally get through arc 7.
Yeah, or more like the next arc 1 type arc. Once we
Okay.
finish this cycle, because arc 1 and arc 5, they kind of like are like your standard sets. They show what the status quo is. They're like, hey, this is where everyone is at right now. And now let's break them all down for the next couple arcs.
I see.
So I'm curious. I like every arc so far. I feel like has continued to, if not always being better than the next, continues to build on each other well and build towards mysteries and giving enough information that it's not like enough information in which I'm able to create more complex theories, but not enough information in which I actually know what the hell I'm talking about.
Okay. Interesting.
I think it's evolving quite nicely because I'm not like a mega analyst, but I can see how like they pay close attention to like the world building and all. Like they ease you. Like I like how they kind of ease you into like the lore of this new world that Subaru got himself into, and like every time he dies, you learn a new piece of information. It's like, oh, so that's how that works. Okay.
Okay.
So it's like, every time you die, you learn something new about the world. You learn something new about the characters, the culture, and Subaru uses that knowledge to hopefully like get the end result that he wants. And sometimes it works, other times it doesn't. And so he pretty much every time he just learns what to do and what not to do. So that's an interesting. I think I like how like the story like explains the lore and as well as Subaru's like mindset as he dies every time.
Okay. All right. Makes sense.
Oh man, I don't even know where to begin. I'm obviously not gonna spoil anything, but I love how the story has kind of like taken a step back from being introspective. I love that of like the first 4 arcs. Like it was very focused on Subaru's growth as a person and like how he like treasures the people around him. But I'll say like after like arc 5, okay, arc 6 kind of is part of the first 4 trope where it's about Subaru, but whatever. Arc 5 is kind of where like it's like still Subaru is the main character, but now it's more so after a certain point about the people around him and how they carry themselves because of Subaru. like how it's not like super spoily for season 3, but like how Garfield treats Subaru. Like he sees him as someone to look up to. Like he like sees that Subaru isn't strong physically, but he's very strong like mentally and emotionally, and like that's the kind of strength he looks up to, which is really interesting to me. And then in the later arcs after 6, so after season 3 possibly, now it's about Subaru again, and basically I don't know how to describe it without getting spoilers. Basically, it's just Subaru now that he's accepted himself more so than he was like before about himself. He is now like trying to find a place in the world for himself with his new found self-esteem and self-confidence.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that would be super spoilery, but yeah, I will agree. I feel like story has grown a little more towards outside of the retrospective side of things.
Yeah, and it's more about the world now, which I'm totally cool with. I like where it's going right now.
Are we talking, okay, are we going web novel area, or are we going just anime?
Let's do anime first, and then we can do web novel.
In the anime, so I really enjoy what season 2 did. Now, a lot of people get mad about it. It was the first one that was, finished up during COVID. It was like one of the first animes to have to deal with COVID. I think they did a phenomenal job considering. The story itself, like I have, up until Oshinoko, I have never wanted to get into the like written material content after an anime. So just the growth of Subaru, every character. Let's be real. Every single character in the Amelia camp received growth, and we also grew the Amelia camp too. It wasn't just like, just the few that are there. No. We grew. We got Garf. We got Otto. Frederica is back. Like the backstories, just the layers of details. Going into the connections between Roswell, Beatrice, Echidna, the growing of the magic system in ReZero, as well as the lore, was just so enriching, and just seeing, especially Geese's backstory. I think Geese's backstory is what sucked me in, as this is a masterpiece of a show, of a series. Just seeing a character who's so fucking awful, you absolutely hate him in the first season, and then you feel bad for him right after, is insane. And how he entangles with the entire plot. Key details in season 1, like when Subaru finally kills Geese, or in season 1 when Julius has to kill Subaru because Geese went inside him. Not to sound funny, but you see Amelia turn and look, and that's multiple things. That's Subaru's death. That's Geese's death. Amelia also has that kind of weird reaction too after Subaru and Julius kill Betelgeuse. If I'm not wrong, if I'm remembering right, I think I am. It's just so the crazy amount of depth, the crazy amount of entangling, the fact that Teppei has things sorted out from the end already and just is filling in the gaps he's weaving this very intense web. And yes, of course, any piece of literature can have its faults and blah blah blah. But I am just so obsessed with this story that even the few faults that I really can't point out myself are just so chef's kiss. Chef's fucking kiss.
Interesting. All right, and then in terms of the web novel, editor meme, remember, put the web novel thing up in the top corner for the viewers.
This is how you put the spoiler tag. So currently I am on chapter 23 of Arc 6, so I can touch a little bit up to there. But of course, I am well known for Arc 5 content. I gotta say, Arc 5 is so far one of my favorite arcs. Of course, I am biased. I only have the first 5. It was technically 6 known. But just seeing the depth of characters that have returned to us from season 1 that are actually getting fleshed out, the emotional depths they go to, understanding the underlying political outreach of what's happening, understanding, example with Anastasia and having Aridna / Echidna, and how much power Echidna has still in this world, even though she's quote unquote dead. I'm low key after all this stuff happening is believing she's somehow still alive with us somehow. With all the things that she has touched and has power on in this world. I just, it's really nice to have that early chapter slice of life ReZero. It was just nice to be happy for just a few chapters, you know? We just wrapped up Arc 5, Chapter 73, Teresia of Anastrea. I got to play Teresia. When I first read it, I didn't really understand what was going on. After the 6th time I read through and I listened to Teal'di's narration, I finally understood Teresia. And she is such a, like, oh my, what a poor person, and the stuff she had to go through, the life she had, and just how much she wanted to have that she never got. I mean, having the, you know, divine protection of the death god, or Shinigami, whatever you prefer to call it, and her not wanting to let anyone in or open up, being so alone for so long, and then to finally allow Wilhelm into her life, for everything to go wrong for the family she wanted so desperately to have, for her son to lose his wife, to lose himself, to lose his son, to lose her life, to have her grandson be like the absolute pinnacle of how awful her family has divulged into. Like, Reinhard is just existing, and his existence is so miserable as well, and learning about that is... we almost had a moment where Wilhelm and Reinhard like got to reconnect, and now I don't think that's repairable. I don't know if Wilhelm will come around after Teresia's death. And I'm curious to see if Reinhard will ever lose powers, like the divine protection, being the sword saint. Will he be able to be free? Will he be able to enjoy his life? Subaru himself is just, he's slowly coming into himself. He's strong. He's strong physically, and he's becoming more strong mentally. I think his strength comes from relying on the people around him that we saw the growth from Season 2, or Arc 4, where he learns that he needs to rely on Amelia and the Amelia camp in order to be his full potential. And I think we really see that in Arc 5. And moving into Arc 6 as well, where he's purposely split up from those who make him the strongest and all the weak. So I'm very curious. I just met Shala. I'm very curious to see how that plays out. Yeah, I'm yapping. Blah, 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 blah.
Nah, you're good. You're good. This is interesting. I always like hearing everyone's thoughts into it. I will say, though, things just get way more crazier as you go on through Arc 6.
Yeah, I heard I'm, like, at a pinnacle right now.
But okay, very interesting stuff.
Well, it kind of all revolves around Return by Death and Subaru himself. The thing is, like, as Subaru evolves, you can see his relationships with the other characters, as well as the other characters themselves, kind of evolving through each one of the resets. And it's definitely all reliant on Return by Death, but they're still uniquely, like, all of the changes are uniquely connected to Subaru's outlook on how things are going.
Okay.
And I think that's part of what's kept me hooked on this anime, like, even through all the stuff that I can't handle very well, like the fucking bunnies. And yeah, like, the story evolves just through the characters, and yeah, I think that's my answer to the question. The story evolves through the characters and their change and how they see Subaru, and just everything is revolving around Subaru, and I hate it because I hate Subaru. He's terrible.
Oh my god.
But also I love the anime because, like, it's got a good story.
Interesting.
Okay, I don't hate Subaru. He's just an idiot.
Yeah, I won't disagree with that. I mean...
Yeah, he's developing as a character for sure, but he's still an idiot. I have yet to see any changes to that aspect.
He's a lovable idiot. How about that?
I'll give you that. He could be worse. He could be worse.
Oh, trust me. He could be worse.
Well, From my knowledge, I know Tape has like a structure that he wants to write with, and I could see slowly in some points he like deviated from that, especially in arc 7 to 8. But how it's evolved, I think venturing out to like more world building, especially in places like the Sanctuary and like other locations. I think going to Pristella was nice, and then eventually ending up in Valakia, I think was an interesting choice. I know that one was quite controversial in the opinion, but I like the way it's evolved with the characters. I think in introducing, especially like in like the 5th arc, I think once the world building slowly starts even more and more, like especially in arc 5, having like the Sin Archbishops introduced through Pristella is a really good way to like sort of insulate an entire capital and like chuck everyone into one place. I thought that was a really good place that the story evolved. I think going forward, that I don't think Tafe will do that much more world building, especially the way Arc 9 has started. I think that would be really controversial in the community, especially after like almost 200 chapters in Valakia. But I think it'd be interesting to go to more places like Kararagi. I think that would be cool later down the line.
I think you have Kararagi and Gusteko that are like the two big ones.
Yeah.
It's definitely taken a lot of psychologically dark turns since season 1. At first, it was like the whole thing about him dying and then coming back was obviously a big shock, but it kind of got desensitized, and then they just started finding new and more creative ways to throw it back in your face. So it is intriguing and legit terrifying just how much they'll put him through.
Okay. Yeah, that is true. You know what? You make a good point, because after a few deaths, you're kind of just, oh, okay, he's dying. Like, it sucks, but you've seen it enough. But then they just have to add in a little more ways to just make it, well, more terrible. I guess everyone can agree for anime only, it's the rabbit stuff that could be considered like, what the fuck?
Very over the top.
And then, for any future deaths, is there any that you would like to make note of?
I mean, there's a lot of deaths coming up, but probably the most interesting one is probably going to be the Arc 7 one, where he's just redoing the same few seconds over and over rather than days or at least like an hour.
Yeah, that's probably way worse than most things he suffered, but yeah, I can agree with that. Then this question might also get you to yap a little. What moment from the series has had the biggest impact on you?
I'll give you two versions, from a reader standpoint and from a voice actor standpoint. From a reader standpoint, I would have to say Tricia Van Estrella for right now. Okay. I think because as of right now, that is the most in-depth I have ever seen a character who plays no significance in the story really anymore have on the overarching story. I mean, like, Reinhard is a huge part of this world. Wilhelm is a huge part of Subaru's life, and Reinhard is very close with Subaru as well. Wilhelm, even wanting to call Subaru his grandson or his son. Heinkel, who I've heard through spoilers becomes important, of course, or at least we learn more about him. But even just seeing the dynamic of like all of them together and how one woman can tear apart an entire family when she is only just trying to put them together. So from a reader standpoint, I think so far that's been the most impactful. Just how beautiful and wonderful that is. From a voice acting standpoint, I have to say it is Arc 5 chapter. Okay, let me quickly just look at the chapter. It's one I recorded. It was the one that blew up on Reddit. I am so sorry about that. No, and there's a reason I'm working hard to find this one. So Arc 5 has, in the way that I've read it specifically, has absolutely encaptured what I have gone through in my life. Okay, I'm not Subaru. I don't have Return by Death. Let's make that clear. But themes in my life have been very similar to what Amelia has gone through and things that Subaru goes through as well, which is very, very strange. So let me quickly find the chapter. This specific one, it comes just before signing of a divorce. I was married when we first started. I got a divorce partway through. And I was with somebody who was not okay for me. They were awful. So it just experiencing recording Arc 5 Chapter 48, the reason... Oh wait, what is it? Title? Heck. Oh, the person I'll one day fall in love with. That is a chapter that had the most impact on me as a voice actor. That was basically Amelia on the stage. That was my moment to monologue and have my, it's basically an Amelia named chapter without it being a named chapter. She, tries to protect these women, all the wives of Regulus. She stands up to Regulus too, even though she really has no choice and can potentially die. But also, she's very fucking strong. She is a strong lady. And we've learned that at the beginning of Arc 5 as she regains her powers after learning about it from the trials and Puck giving her memories back. So she's strong. She could probably handle it all. It's just Regulus has that weird-ass funky power that makes it really hard to get him out.
The only power that essentially counters Reinhardt temporarily.
Yeah. Literally, and it takes Amelia dealing with some past traumas to render that out. And then Subaru Reinhardt come in and help save the day, of course. But the three of them work on it together. But that one has the most significance to me because as I was recording it, as I was editing it, I was going through the process of leaving and getting out of there, and. Although I wasn't against some guy who has 85 plus wives, and I was number, whatever the number Amelia was. But just, Regulus has similarities to the person I was with, to some degree, without, being a Regulus. And I had a lot of things that Amelia was experiencing throughout the chapter, mentally, with just anguish of the past, things that have happened, things that had to go through in order to get out of the situation she was in. And then having people there for her who could help her out. That was why it was very impactful for me. I shared that with my ex-partner as well. And we had a nice chat about that. That was lovely. And he agreed as well with it, which is a very weird, rare thing. But that chapter holds a lot of significance for me. And I'd say it's one of my proudest voice acting moments as well. I put a lot of emotion in that one. I could do it better now, though.
Nice. Interesting. Very interesting stuff.
Thanks for letting me monologue again.
No, go for it. I mean, I think if I were to share anything, it'd be... I view Subaru, especially Season 1 Subaru, has literally just high school me. Because we had similar personalities. So I hate him, but yet I love him unironically.
Absolutely. I mean, Tepe hit the nail on the head.
But
absolutely.
Okay, so the most impact, I think that would either go to From Zero or Parent and Child. Probably more Parent and Child.
Okay.
There are moments in the series that I think I like better than those, but in the mindset I was in when I saw those scenes, it wasn't a lot. I needed to see those a lot. Whereas now I'm in a more stable place, and so they don't hit as hard as it doesn't have as much of an impact because I've already had the growth that I've needed to in those areas. But those two, seeing a very good depiction of self-hatred in From Zero and seeing parallels between that in my actual life was very it hit very hard. And then again with Parent and Child, again, just seeing a lot of parallels between that and my own life, and it allowed me to put different things into perspective, and just really, I think I've only watched that or read that once without crying.
Yeah, I can relate to that actually.
Always got to have a Kleenex box.
Oh yeah, that I can at least say. I don't know. I think the one that would hit the most would be at least for me, I would say it was what was it? Return by Death, when he reveals it to Echidna. I think that one kind of hurts because it's just all the trauma dumping, just finally able to vent to someone like his real issue.
That's a really powerful moment. That is a incredibly. I agree with you that one always hits. It never doesn't.
I would have to say, I don't know, because like there's a bunch of them, but I think what got me like really invested in it was pretty much the climax of the Roswell Mansion arc, where you find pretty much what's been killing him, aside from Rem, of course. Like, I don't know if this is it okay to do spoilers or no? I'm not sure.
Go for it. I just gotta have editor me put the spoiler tag. Well, actually, anything related to season 1 and season 2 is gonna be spoilery, so I don't think it even matters.
Okay, but yeah, I think what really I think the Roswell Mansion really stuck to me. But I think what made me like a huge eye opener was finding out that like Subaru has been cursed, but then he realized, oh wait, the curse must be coming from someone in the village. And then you find out, oh wait, it came from the cute little doggy. That's like, oh my gosh. That was crazy. I didn't expect the puppy. I'm sure someone smarter than me expected the puppy, but I sure as heck didn't expect the puppy.
I mean, it was a throwaway thing because he was murked in a different way. Rem killed him in the second loop, so it's supposed to distract you as to who's trying to kill him. Rem's the one killing him, so it's like, oh, so
but she's killing him for a completely different reason.
Yeah, and then when she dies and he survives, it kind of starts to draw like what, like it's a big twist. Like it wasn't Rem the whole time. Funnily enough.
Yeah. So I think that's what got me, like the whole mystery aspect. I was like, oh man, like there's like this huge question mark that Subaru's just trying to figure out, and through a couple of deaths and trial and error, he eventually finds out about it.
Okay, interesting, very interesting.
That depends on if we're talking about the anime, the manga, or the light novel.
Let's do anime first, then we can do light novel.
Anime, I would say probably the one that had the most impact on me was the Trials, because it really showed just how deeply psychologically disturbed he was, the issues and the hangups that he had, and how bleakly he was kind of treating not just his life but kind of everything about himself compared to how everybody around him viewed him.
Okay, you're referring to the first trial, like what was it? Facing his past.
Not just facing his past, but facing his present. Also his breakdown with his breakdown with the witches.
Yes. I think I know which one you're referring to. The unthinkable present.
Mm-hmm.
I think that one sort of shed a light on what happens if it goes into creating a new timeline. The previous timeline is completely fucked. Only because, I mean, he's not there to genuinely fix things, quote unquote.
Yep.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. What about in the light novel then?
The one I'm probably, I wouldn't say mostly like it has the most impact, but probably most looked forward to. Well, no, it still is an impact. I was just surprised with everything that happened with Spica, and trying to avoid like major spoilers. But so I'll just say the events with quote unquote Spica.
Okay. Okay, interesting. You know what? Future me, when you're editing this, let's just put a whole spoiler tag. Go nuts, MegaZero, go nuts with it. I'm genuinely curious what exactly you're referring to.
Just the fact that she's referring to herself as, you know, what would have been Subaru's future daughter, with Rem, even though that timeline got completely denied. But it's just the fact that they referred to that, and the fact that she just gave herself that name was just kind of like a big shock moment, because now it made you wonder, okay, if we're not going to have the actual speak, somebody going to take Rigo's name.
I almost want to bet that Subaru and Amelia's son is going to be Rigel.
I'm pretty sure they're having a daughter. That's usually how the trope of these things go.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. But you make a point. Rigel would have to exist in some shape or form.
Oh, that's a good question. Oh, I gotta think about this. Hang on. There would be the obvious of like Otto's kind of big moment that he had. I think it was like near the end of season 2 when he actually had his own fight, basically.
Season 2, episode 15.
Yeah, that one. That was a really big moment for my favorite character in the series. But I think... Actually, no, yeah, that's probably the moment that stuck with me the most. Like, it's just... The biggest moments for my favorite characters always just really stick with me. And that's why that one just kind of... That's the first moment that came to mind.
Well, a lot of it definitely came from the fact that, I mean, Garfield is obviously going to beat Otto in a straight-up fight. So Otto kind of took it in a very intelligent... It went more of an intelligence versus brute force kind of way.
And it wasn't just that, but it showed that Otto could be more than just a side character. He's important. He has bravery. It takes a bit for it to come out, but like he can be brave when he really needs to be.
Well, speaking of Otto, let's be real. He's the reason that Subaru was able to succeed in season 2, considering that.
Oh, 100%.
After what Roswell did, essentially revealing that, yeah, he's in control of everything, and Subaru kind of losing his mind. Like, Otto was essentially the Rem of that season, of bringing back his fighting spirit.
Yeah, he really was. And, like, I just loved that. Although, gotta admit that moments with the dog man definitely stick with me a little bit. Because, I mean, come on. He's just like the most unique character. Dogman is the most unique. His appearance is completely striking. It's completely different from any other character in the series, and like his personality is just big.
Not to mention he's a pretty chill guy too. He definitely is chill. I would.
Oh yeah, he's cool.
I think you could have like dinner with him, and he would just be talking all fun, and you just have a nice conversation.
No. You're getting it wrong. We wouldn't be going to dinner. We'd be going to the fucking bar.
You're right. It would be
He's
a bar.
a bro. He's a fucking bro.
Oh, come on. Bros can even have dinner with each other and just chat and have some fun.
Yeah, but like, what you think of when you think of a bro is like having fun at the bar, going to Dave and Buster's and just like losing your shit over video, like just these random little games.
Imagine going to Dave and Buster's with Ricardo, the dog man. That would be super funny.
Oh man, I forgot that was his name. It's such a name.
To clarify to everyone, we called him Dog Man because it was kind of funny within our friend group, so it stuck with us.
He's literally a dog man.
Also, fun fact, because Viney loves Otto, there is a funny bit that in the final episode of season 2, when everyone was punching Roswell, auto punching Roswell actually caused Viney, because we were all watching it, to accidentally kick my laptop, and that was funny because he was like, "Oh my god," and then just kicks my laptop by accident.
Yeah, no, I think my exact quote was, "Yeah," but much louder.
No, yeah, it should be in that review, but
yeah, it's somewhere in there.
But nah, that was the funniest thing ever. But okay.
Yeah, I'm still sorry about that, by the way. I did not mean to kick your
fine.
computer, but I was excited.
No, it's fine. That was the funniest. Those are funny stories. They're genuinely funny.
It was. And the thing is, like, Roswell deserved it. He deserved every punch, especially Otto's.
Yeah, I think Petros was like, it actually, you could feel the pain.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Oh man.
Oh my god, that's a big one.
It's a load.
Yeah, that's a Pandora's box right there. I think for me, probably episode 18, but like not the scene everyone thinks of with the self-loathing speech. It's like actually the scene right before that where Puck kills Subaru and Subaru's like laughing at himself. For me, that's kind of like where I woke up a little bit and be like, okay, there's actually a lot more to this story, because sure, like before then for me, like it was enjoyable to watch for me, and like at the time I was like just kind of like just going through anime left and right, and it's like, you know, watch it all in like a few days and then move on to the next one and don't even think about it. But then that one, after the scene where Subaru dies, he's like laughing at himself and he's freezing to death. I'm like, maybe I should go back after the season is over and just like rewatch it or something, because I think I might have underestimated this show a little bit.
You know, that's funny that you put it into words like that, because yeah, episode 18 is the iconic Rem speech, the iconic Subaru hates himself speech.
Yeah.
I think people forget that, or well, they don't, but it's like something not in your mind.
It's overshadowed.
Yeah, it is heavily overshadowed, but that was kind of the wake-up call too, leading to Subaru wanting to give up, because Puck essentially told him to his face that he not only failed miserably, but he like hurt Amelia in more ways than he was aware of, or
yeah, and that he was slothful.
Yeah, that kind of must have hit, especially considering he already had to deal with, well, Sloth himself. So it's basically saying you're just like him.
And yeah, and and Subaru hated his guts, and so he's like, wow, I'm just like the guy I hate, huh?
Now that's one hell of a way to wake you up.
Just wake up one morning like, dude, like the worst guy I know is me.
Probably, yeah, like episode 18.
The Rem speech.
Yeah. Well, not Rem's speech, Subaru's speech of self-hatred.
I think that hits like 50 times more for those who like definitely follow who have the same type of struggles that he has.
Yeah. Like Rem's speech, you know, all that, it was great. I loved it. But like Subaru's just like his introspection and going through his entire character up until that point, and even like giving more context with his life back as a NEET. It's so good. And the voice acting as well, it's phenomenal, dog. What can I say?
This one is quite I think this one's very loved by the community, but parent and child, or it's parent and child, or it's choose me. Those two moments are actually so good. This is speaking from novel perspective. I don't know, reading them for the first time, it didn't have the same like hit as the anime besides the soundtrack. But the novels reading Parent and Child and Choose Me was so special. Those were very good chapters. Because I've seen some other isekais before ReZero, but no one's ever dived into the concept of like thinking what your parents would think when you're gone, and that was just that was just so crazy to me. 'Cause it was also just so special the way it was written, and especially reading the Q&As afterwards, where I think Tafe states like his parents are still searching for him to this day, was just so sad. And the same with Choose Me was just so good because they build it up for a whole arc. And it's just really good to see Beatrice like leave her little cage and then be really happy with Subaru in the next couple of arcs. That was really nice.
Okay. Yeah, I believe parent and child, I feel like most people can resonate with that.
Yeah.
Choose Me is definitely one of the best ones, for sure. But, alright. Next question, a simple one, Dub or sub?
Sub, obviously.
There's no right or wrong answers.
Yeah, no, yeah, so the thing is, like, I am 100% for subs, but I will admit some animes really do have outstanding dubs. I haven't seen the ReZero dub. I have not seen it, so I don't know how good or bad it is. I've only ever watched it subbed, and that's honestly how I prefer to watch it. For most animes, that's what I do, is I watch it subbed first, and if I have a hard time with that, that's when I move to dub.
Interesting.
Yeah, and usually the only thing that gives me a hard time is like idioms and like jokes that are kind of region specific, which of course anime has a ton of Japanese specific jokes that a lot of Americans just won't get. And I fully understand that, which is why some animes, like the ones that are like focused around jokes, tend to be better dubbed, because then you get your native language's jokes and stuff instead of a culture that you're not really familiar with.
Yeah, you make a point there.
Yeah. But with ReZero, I prefer subbed personally because it's a more serious anime, and it does have jokes for sure. It absolutely has funny moments, but like, for me, seriousness tends to come across better in Japanese for some reason.
No, it makes sense. To each their own in terms of things.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's definitely opinion based.
I might have to go with sub on this one. Nothing against the dub. It's just that's what I first got into it subbed. Nothing against the dub. I'm sure they do a wonderful job.
Yeah, I'll agree with that sentiment. I watched it sub first, then I watched it dub eventually, and both are pretty good. It's just sub was first, so
yeah, sub was first. But you know what? If you give me a series that only has the dub, I do not mind watching it. I'll watch it, no problems.
Sub.
Pretty simple, pretty easy question.
Double or sub? Okay, this one I actually, I honestly think best of both worlds. Because, well, if I had to like say one, I'd say sub. But I think best of both worlds because I really like Subaru's sub actor. I really like Amelia's sub actor. But Beatrice's dub actor, especially in the second season, Kira Buckland, is very good. Especially in, like, I think it's the Friend episode. Like, when she has, like, that whole breakdown. It's just, Beatrice's sub-voice actor always stays in that childish character whenever she's screaming. So, I can't take it as seriously, but the dub one just really, really, like, tries her heart out. When she's like screaming, especially during like episode 11. I think characters. I think a lot of the other sub characters are good, but I honestly think the dub characters do like a lot of good work. Like Seanj Shiplock on Subaru is very good. It's just that he can't come close to Kobayashi because he's always like planning the way Subaru dies. When he reads it, he's like, oh man, if Subaru gets his left arm cut off, I'd have to like numb my left arm. So I could feel that pain. Like I don't think Sean Shiplock's ever gonna try that.
Okay. Interesting.
Both happily. I enjoy both so much. Like I honestly, I know a lot of people have issues with some of the dub. I never did. I fucking loved it. I'm so immersed. I will happily sit and watch the weekly sub. I wait. And then I wait for the simuldub. I'm right there for it. I'm right there. Give me some Sean Chiplock. Give me some fucking Kaylee Mills. Give me some Rita Takahashi. Give me some Yusuke Kobayashi. I'm here for it.
Yeah,
How about
makes
you?
Sense. Honestly, it's funny because as much as I obviously have seen it through the sub first, so that kind of resonates with me. But the dub
course.
still hits. Unironically,
It hits.
some of the stuff like episode 18, like Subaru's self-loathing one,
Oh.
Ren's speech, or
Brianna Knickerbocker, man.
Subaru revealing Return by Death to Echidna, and it kind of just causing him to have a mental breakdown. Like
Oh.
those I do listen
That
unironically
scene.
while I'm kind of just driving. Only because those are like crazy
Beautiful.
impactful.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
How could I forget? How could I forget the I Return by Death? I know. Fuck! Parent and Child, I listen to that OST track on repeat. When I need to feel something, it's just your voice on loop for hours.
yeah, the OST tracks are crazy good.
Mm-hmm.
Although I find it funny for one that literally says Chain of Memories, because all that my brain registers that is Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, the literal title of it. So I kind of have to take a back. I'm like, what the hell?
Wait, what? Yeah, I figured that out with the Tricia chapter. I'm like, why is there Final Fantasy here? What's going on?
Not to mention, this isn't like 100% a spoily thing, but in the web novel, at least at the very near end of Arc 6, there is a Kingdom Hearts reference at some
Oh,
point.
hell yeah. That's so exciting.
So when I read that, I was a bit dumbfounded because it's one of the references that actually hits hard for Kingdom Hearts fans.
Oh, shit. I wish, now I gotta play Kingdom Hearts before I finish it. Too!
Kingdom Hearts is very fun. I recommend it.
Wow.
People get mad because they think it's too convoluted. It's like a little bit, but I mean,
But worth it.
It's worth it. You just play the game and you'll get it. Unless it's recoded. I will always hate recoded. Its story just... Not going on that rant again. Yet. Because I gotta do the review for that someday, and that's gonna suck.
Absolutely.
Funny enough, I think I've watched the anime like 6 times. I watched it my first time, then I watched it with my dad, then I watched it with one friend, and then 2 others, and I think I watched it one other time on my own. Only one of those times have I watched it subtitled.
Okay. Interesting.
When I first watched it, I was mostly watching dubbed anime. And so I watched it all dubbed. And so when I did watch it, that was how I experienced it. And so I never really went out of my way to try the subtitled, except for like watching certain clips out of curiosity. But I like them both. I think they're both are great. The dub does a very good job of like, I'd say localizing lines. Like there's a lot of lines that both in the subtitle translation and in the novel sound really weird when spoken out in English. It sounds like off, like the cadences, the way the person says it is a little odd, and the way sentences flow together doesn't fully sound like how a person would normally say those words. And the dub does a very good job of keeping like the meaning of every line, while still like making the person say it in a way that always like feels very natural in the spoken word. Although there are a couple of times where the dub just like mistranslates stuff and like messes up some lines, and it's like
Okay. All right.
Oh shit.
Not which one's better. I don't want to piss off one community,
no.
but what do you prefer? This is all on your opinion.
Both. I really love both. Like they're both like super like good. Like obviously like the Japanese like it's obviously gonna be like better and more in tune with the story, but the dub is fucking that one of the best in the industry of history, dog. It's just they was cooking in that studio.
I gotta agree. They definitely know what they were doing.
Sup, I love Yusuke Kobayashi.
All
But
right.
I love Rie Takahashi too. But again, I think the dub does have its strong points too. Sean Chiplock is great as Subaru, especially the rabbit scene. Holy crap, that gave me chills.
I think the rabbit scene they both pulled off that very
Dude.
well.
I'm surprised like we can even see them in person still. Like do you think like under their clothes they have all these scars from that scene or something?
Who knows? Who honestly knows at this point?
They're insane, and I love them for it.
Same. Let's go with this next question now. Which camp would you join and why?
Felt, because down with monarchies.
I mean, yeah, if you're in Felt, you're most likely more chances than not safe.
If I had not read the novels, when you asked me who my favorite character would have been, I would have answered with Felt. She's awesome. I 100% back her, with no qualms.
Interesting.
That still stands true. I've only read a little bit of her side stories, so I don't know. I only know what was said in Arc 5 about how her leadership has been doing, which seems like good signs. So I don't have too many issues with that, but I need to read like Riot in Flanders before I can say that with zero reservations.
Okay.
But yeah, no.
I mean, I think Felt has a chance to grow as a character, considering she got thrown into this whole new life compared to the one she had when we saw her in the beginning of the series. So she has a lot of chance to grow into something bigger.
As Reinhardt said in the novel, even though it was cut from the anime, when what's his name? When Miklatov, oh, I love Miklatov. When Miklatov asked him about Felt saying she hated the knights and wanted to get rid of them, and asking him what he thought of that as a knight. He said, if I remember correct, he said, after destruction there comes reconstruction, and I wish to stand by her side to see what she creates. I haven't read that line in a while. This is like a year ago.
No, but I feel like those would be around the same lines. It has been a while for me too. But all right, that's an interesting quote from Reinhardt of all characters. But then again, it shows his loyalty to Felt, so I'm intrigued by that kind of line.
Okay, I'll give a joke answer and then probably my real answer. For my joke answer, Felt, because then I can hang out with Grim and Carol at the Estrella household. I hear Carol make some banger sweets, so I can snack on them all I want. So that'd be pretty cool.
Okay.
For my real answer, probably Krush, just because I feel like her convictions as a person, despite losing her memories in season 2, like really shines through. Like it shows how like good nature of a person she is, and like how willing she is to like put everything on the line to defend the people she loves and the people she cares for. Because like Priscilla, yeah, dude, she is so like she's so bad. But like I couldn't last 2 seconds around her without her probably like lopping my head off. Felt she probably nag on me too much. I get annoyed of that pretty quickly. Anastasia, it'd be cool to hang out with Julius, but I probably have Ricardo always on my back about something. Oh, there's also Felix though. Yeah, whatever.
Well, then there's the Amelia camp.
Dude, Amelia camp is a ticking time bomb with emotional distress.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think
I think the only plus would be drinking with Otto at that point.
That you know that you make a fair point there. Drinking with Otto is pretty cool.
I think that might be the only way to escape the craziness that camp has to deal with, like at a 24/7 basis.
Like, oh, there goes Subaru with his 27th mental breakdown of the day. All right, better pack up.
Okay, interesting. All right, which
Priscilla.
one? Priscilla. Okay, we're going with the Priscilla camper.
Yep.
And why is that?
Because it has two of my goats, Priscilla and Al. Like, I just want to hang out with them, dog.
What would you even do if you could hang out with them? What would you do?
I don't know. Probably get killed.
All right.
I don't remember much about the camps.
It would be the Amelia camp, which is the main one we're following. The Felt camp, which has Reinhard. The Anastasia camp, which has Dogman and Julius.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
that. Who has the one-armed
Oh yeah,
Al.
that guy.
And then Crucius camp that has Wilhelm and Felix.
Right. I remember the name Felix, but I am just not connecting the name to the face. What the heck?
Catboy.
Catboy. Yes. Okay. Right. Catboy. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm remembering things better. Okay. Oh, that's actually a really hard question, though. Whose camp would I choose? Dang. I mean, like, there's the obvious answer of just going with the one that Otto's in and going for Amelia's camp, but it's definitely not that simple. It is definitely not that simple. So there's a few pretty decent options. I mean, based on what they've shown us, I don't like the red lady. I don't like her at all. Her personality sucks. So I wouldn't be in her camp. I think the ones I agree with most are Emilia and the one that freaking, I want to say it's the one with Dogman. Is the other one that I want to say I agreed with her. She was the merchanty one, right?
What color hair?
Purple?
Yeah, that would be Anastasia.
Okay. Yeah, she's the kind of like merchant focused one, the one that's like all about money, right?
Oh, yes. I don't know why I didn't think of merchant. That should have been a red flag for me to say it was Anastasia. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so I think those are the two that I agreed with most. I'm remembering absolutely nothing about the camp that Felix was in, so I'm assuming I probably didn't agree with that one.
It would have been Krush. I think to give you a quick heads up on that, I mean, Krush was supposed to take care of Subaru when, Subaru did his whole thing. She didn't assist Subaru when he said, like, the witch's cult is setting over there, mainly because Subaru was really not helping his own case, and she's the one that lost her memories.
Right. Yeah, I think I didn't agree with her. But yeah, no, so Amelia and Anastasia would probably be my picks, just because, like, I agreed with them the most. Like, I agree with Amelia on, like, a moral standpoint, and Anastasia more on a logical standpoint. So, like, basically, like, Anastasia's all about economy and commerce, and to be honest, to run a country, that is a good thing to focus on, because to run a country, you need money. But on the other hand, there's like Emilia who just wants to be loved, to be honest. But she also just has a really big heart. So, yeah, I think those would be the two, and those are my reasons. Like, Emilia, she's got a good heart. She's trying to do her best. Anastasia, because logically, you need money to run a kingdom.
Interesting. Amelia would be more of the emotional, more moral, and then Anastasia the more logical, sensible one. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's... Okay, that's. 'Cause there's like multiples I want to join. Hold on, let me refresh myself on what the camps are, because it's been
all
these names. Because like I know the Amelia camp and the Felt camp and the Anastasia camp. I probably got those other camps wrong, don't I?
You got him. You got him. You're just missing 2 more.
All right. There's the Felt camp and so Amelia, Felt, Anastasia, Krush. There's I think it was the Priscilla camp.
Priscilla camp. Yes.
Yeah. Because like I don't. Every camp I want to join. Like I don't mind not joining the Priscilla camp. So it's pretty much a 4-way tie between Amelia, Felt, Krush, and Anastasia.
Then give me the reasons for each one. I'm curious then.
It's going to be because of it's mainly going to be because of the members. Ah, jeez. So I have to like think carefully on this.
No, it's pretty justified. Some people will join because there's a certain like character in the camp.
Mm-hmm.
But 4-way tie, that's an interesting one.
Yeah, I'm trying to narrow it down to 1.
Nah, go for it. Go for it. You got all the time you want.
Like, part of like my soul wants to join the Felt camp because like I don't know. I just think it would be chaotically fun to join a camp where you find out that the princess was actually from the slums. So I think that would be a fun camp to join. But I also want to join the Anastasia camp, mainly because I don't know. I really like her design and just some of the members I like. There seems a little, especially the I forgot their names. Little yes,
and,
those they're so adorable.
I forgot the third one, unfortunately.
Yeah.
They have some cool combos.
I also joined Krush because it's just specifically just for Feld, just for Felix. Sorry.
No, good. I had a feeling it would be for Felix. All right, that's not bad. That's not bad at all.
I managed to reduce it to 3.
Huh? Interesting. It got down to 3.
Maybe in the future I'll be able to narrow it down to 1.
Nah, it's all good. It's all good.
Which camp would I join and why? The Anastasia camp. I think that would be the funnest place to go to. Besides loving Anastasia, I think it'd just be funny to hang around Ricardo and being in Tibby and Hetano. I think that would be one of the stupidest experiences. I don't know about Julius though. I feel like Julius wouldn't like me very much. I
mean,
I don't think that'd be a very good match.
I mean, considering he considers Subaru a friend after that whole
But considering that whole ordeal, yeah.
I think Julius is pretty chill. He just has to, uphold his knightly status. But I think aside from that, I think he'd be pretty chill to hang out with.
I hope so.
I would probably, despite all the horrors they go through, I would just join the Amelia camp because all my favorite characters are in their camp.
That is true.
Amelia, Rem, done. That's it. I will watch her, even if she's sleeping. That's not creepy. I would take care of her.
I feel like
I need to calm down.
I feel like both Ram and Subaru would kind of be on high alert on you.
It's okay, I'd make them love me. And then I'd slide on in. Yeah.
Fair enough.
I'd walk in looking like this as an Amelia replica. Like, hey, let me join your faction, Uwu. I'll be the body double. They can assassinate me while Amelia is the mouthpiece.
Oh, Subaru won't allow that. Knowing him, he won't allow that to happen. But okay.
Absolutely not.
But okay. Alright then. Next question. Which death is the most memorable for you? Like, which one is one that really got your attention?
I think the one that stuck to me is the one where Subaru was murdered by Puck. Because Amelia died, and you kind of just see the aftermath of what happens when you let her die. And be like, oh.
Well, there are like 3 different times Puck has killed Subaru.
Could I narrow it down to the one where Subaru reveals his return by death to Amelia?
Oh gosh, you're going with I'm not mistaken, that's the third one, episode 17. I want to say, yeah, it has to be episode 17.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're.
That he's like, oh, so because it's like I know this whole thing is like, oh, he can't tell anyone this return, but sounds like there's what's like because like in my mind, it's like there's nothing like all he has to do is just tell people about his powers, and people would be less worried about him. And then he tells his powers, and she dies. I'm just like, well, dang. And then you just see this giant beast in the horizon. Like, oh, well then.
Essentially, the consequences of your actions have come to haunt you, in a sense.
Well, if it isn't the consequences of my action.
Yeah. That funny meme. But, yeah, that's an interesting death that got your attention.
You kind of said earlier, the rabbits? I mean, just from what's already been shown, it was the rabbits.
Okay. Yeah. Rabbits.
I think that's all that really needs to be said.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
Throughout the entire series, I think for the first 4 arcs, I always paid attention, but I think in the 4th arc, it was the death by the Witch of Envy, when the entirety of the sanctuary gets swallowed up in like her shadows. That was like very good. That's a scene I think the anime did very well. I actually prefer that over the novels. It's just I like the audio mixing to the point where like if you were sitting in like a theater, it would just enter both of your ears directly, like the "I love you." I really like the idea, especially with like Subaru taking the hood off, and it looks exactly like Amelia. And then he says like the exact same thing. It's like, I swear I'm going to save you. I feel like I was so confused the first time I saw that. And that was so cool. Other than that, I think in Arc 5, the first serious death was actually insane. Because that's another moment where it's just utter confusion. Because everyone's just so happy. And just so joyful that there's a kid about to get chucked off a building.
Yeah, it just suddenly just.
I was so confused. But then I realized after when he was like, I feel sick. I'm like, oh, it's not because he died. It's because he let someone die and he had no control over it. It's like sick to the soul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, continue on. What were you gonna say?
No, I was saying those are my 2 most memorable and favorites actually, because like a lot of the other deaths is just like, oh, shock factor.
Yeah, I would presume. I think the only one, I mean, from the first 4 arcs, I mean, the rabbit one was definitely like one that super nearly broke.
One. Yeah, the rabbit one was very, very bad. I think, especially in Arc 6, the Mana Cave or the Miasma Cave was also a very dark one. But I'm still waiting to see how the anime does that one before my full commentary.
It is one of the more darker deaths, so yeah. I'm kind of I'm kind of curious how they're gonna go about it. But okay.
Novel answers. For novel answer, it would have to be Arc 6, Subaru's second fall down the spiral. The description of him like turning to a meat bag was harrowing. It was just something about it just hit me wrong, and I was like, oh god. As an anime watcher, it was definitely the Arc 2 death with Rem torturing Subaru and then Ram killing Subaru.
You know, I think it's funny, that death, because I think most people kind of miss it at first, that it was Ram that did it.
Mm-hmm.
But with context clues, it'll kind of tell you it was Ram. But interesting, very interesting.
I'll be super vague for this. I'll have 2 answers. I'll have a really vague one for like season 3, chapter 61 for me.
All right.
For
then.
that character. I was like, wait a minute, what's going on here?
Okay.
And for the anime, probably, the one where Rem is torturing him and Rom puts him out of his misery.
Oh,
Like,
shoot.
like that one, I was like, damn, like, I can't help but feel awful for this guy because they always forget about him and everything they've done for him, and like they're being suspicious of him because of things he can't control, and it is all gets to a boiling point for him, and and do the crying from Yusuke is so like real, like the ugly crying, like oh my god, dude, such a heartrending scene.
I think when it comes down to that one, if Rem hadn't done that, eventually Rem would have realized she tortured an innocent person. Because I mean, you can only torture someone for so long before like it's shown there that they literally weren't what you thought.
Yeah, and like part of me was interested to see like the like how like the unthinkable present trial when because they when they did the unthinkable present, you can see the aftermath of the one where she crushes his head with the morning star, but only for a quick glance. I'm like, oh please, just show me a little more. Like I don't like just like want to see a little more because she's like trying to explain to Rom about why she killed Subaru, and Rom doesn't look very pleased.
I can guarantee there was probably a lot more that would have been cool to see. I think the sad thing about the death you mentioned is that all honestly they could just bury it and kind of just leave it like nothing happened, and Amelia would have just thought that Subaru was
because he left. For all she knows, he's in Kararagi now.
Yeah, so that's a very sad. That's actually very sad in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
But okay, let's go with your other one. Future me. Put the spoiler tag up.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. So, for me, when Al was talking to Capella, and he was like, "Oh, I already tried, your heart and your head," and I kept having to reread that part. I was like, I don't remember. Like, I was legit. I had to go back a chapter. I'm like, did I miss something? Did they accidentally translate like skip a translation for like him fighting for Capella? I almost said Priscilla. I mean, I guess he technically was fighting Priscilla because she was shapeshifted into her form. So I mean, I'm not wrong.
In the technicality, you are.
Yeah. But I was so like taken aback, and then I put it together when he was like, it was when he said, I'll keep trying even if I have to die 100 times, and I'm already halfway there. I was like, he has a return by death. Like he has a return by death mechanic. And then he said something like this is what it's like being the victim. And then I looked at the chapter name, and it was Victim of the Territory. And it just blew my mind. I was like, Al is way more of an interesting character than I first expected.
Yeah, I mean, I will agree the same thing. When he said that, I had to take a double take because I'm like, wait a minute, are we saying that there's someone with a similar ability as Return by Death?
Who's also from Japan?
Man, it genuinely sucks to be from Japan then if you're just getting an ability like that.
I wonder if there were other isekai people that weren't from Japan. Like, could you imagine like Gusteko? There's like pseudo Walmarts or like U.S. exclusive stores.
That'd be interesting. I wouldn't lie.
Never know.
Yeah, not until we explore those places.
I mean, I was thinking of something because Subaru is from Japan, and he was summoned to Lagunica. Al is from Japan, and he was summoned to Wallachia. And Hoshin was from Japan and was summoned to Kararagi. So could there be someone from Gusteko?
I would believe there has to be. I think we haven't encountered one yet.
Maybe one of the heroes of the past, like Flugel or something.
That'd be a twist. But okay.
I don't know. I'll let Tape cook.
Okay. So there's two that stand out to me the most for very different reasons. The first one I thought of when you asked that was the rabbits, just because it was by far the one that made me the most uncomfortable. I hated it the most, but it also showed the most development for Subaru, I think. And that's why that one stands out. But then the other one is the death that we saw Rem kind of first, like the first glimmers of her feelings for Subaru. Like that one where he was basically he just yeeted himself off a cliff.
Oh, you mean in the mansion arc where he just because that death is more showing Subaru's true character.
Yeah, that one was showing his true character, and like the part that stands out about it is that was the first moment that Rem saw his true character, and that's why it stands out so much to me. Like that one was it was insane for a lot of reasons.
I would believe that one was more of where he jumped off the cliff, no?
Yeah.
I would believe that was where he kind of admit that he cares for both Rem and Ram, like he admits it, and that's him thinking. This is where Subaru's respect does go for me in that arc, is that he could have just survived. He literally made it through the day, but he chose to repeat everything because he cares for them and is willing to waste that life just so he can try to save both sisters from, well, being separated per se. So yeah, it was honestly one of the best Subaru moments.
Yeah, it was a really good Subaru moment, I will admit that. I like how the two deaths are all, like, the two deaths I remember the best are like some of the biggest development moments for one of my least favorite characters.
No, all good. Everyone likes their own. Everyone views Subaru differently.
Yeah, okay, to be fair, Subaru is actually probably solidly in the middle as far as, like, how much I like each and every character in the series. Because, like, his stupidity annoys me, but there are far worse characters than him.
Look at Regulus, the one who likes to rant. Not exactly a fun character, but...
Yeah, and then there's also, the frickin' witch cultists who have been named and also shown. I hate those guys. I hate every last one of them. They're terrifying.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to deal with them either.
Yeah.
But...
Fucking this guy. Fucking green hair. I hate him so much. Yeah.
Oh, but what about his backstory, though?
That was heart-wrenching. That backstory was freaking insane. Still doesn't make me like him anymore. although, because of that backstory, he's definitely not, like, lowest on my list. I'm not actually... Actually, no, I think freaking Red Lady, the lady with the red dress, and the freaking, I hate her, and the licking her boots stupidity.
Oh, yeah, Priscilla.
Yeah, I hate her. She's probably my least favorite character.
Interesting.
She's a bitch.
Yeah, fair enough.
Actually, no, Roswell might actually beat her, because I kind of hate him too. There's a lot of people I don't like in this anime, but, like, the story's good, and there are really good characters, so I am still watching.
I'll do an anime only, and then I will do a web novel.
Go for it.
Anime only one, so say for all, would be the rabbits, the great rabbits, eating him inside out. That absolutely... I didn't expect it because I didn't read the web novel back then. I didn't know what was coming. It came out of the blue, and I was petrified. I just sat there, mouth open, for like half an hour. It was not nice.
Yeah, that death was like...
Scary!
I think
visceral!
I think it sucks because the second you see Subaru, like, come back from that, he just lived through that, so...
Yeah.
It's almost his mind was gonna break, quite literally.
A mind broke for him. And then this is the spoiler one. Edit this out later. Edit this part out.
Just put the spoiler tag.
Oh yeah, spoiler tag. It would be Arc 6, Chapter 15. That is the most fucking visceral death I have seen yet. Ram and Subaru just beating each other to death. Anastasia just being eaten. Didn't Patrash eat all of them in the end?
Yeah.
Wasn't that the end? Yeah. Disgusting! Disgusting! Don't do that to Best Girl. What the fuck? I sat there and I was reading it with Wolf at the time because I have a hard time sitting down and reading the web novel. Now that I'm like extra interested, it's less hard, but we sat down, read it together, and he was reading it out loud and we were voice acting it together, and I'm not ready to record that.
I think it's gonna be more how the anime is gonna portray that. That's like completely brutal. I think it's even worse than the rabbit death because of the implications.
I would say so. It absolutely shocked me. Would you say, with what you know, that that's the worst one so far?
Unfortunately, I think Arc 7 sorta has it beat. Just by a tad bit. But that's because, without spoiling much, it is just pure hell. It is worse than the rabbit and worse than that entire
There's
scene.
one spoiler I know about Arc 7, and it's like a 15-second loop.
15-second loop.
Or like a very, very fast.
Oh, actually, it's worse. It's like, I think it's 10 seconds.
I'm not ready for that.
So, okay, funnily enough, no one knows Subaru's death count anymore because of that. Completely. That completely fucked up the entire death count everyone had.
Holy shit. He just stopped writing about it.
He just stopped giving a number.
Oh my god. I'm terrified getting that. Oh wow. Okay.
It is insane, but yeah.
Fuck you, Tepe. Fuck you.
Tepe,
God.
he's funny. And cruel, but funny.
Mm-hmm.
But, alrighty.
Episode 7, when he kills himself.
Oh.
Jumping off the cliff.
Oh, interesting. Kind of curious as to why.
Because that was when the show absolutely hooked me. Because like I was watching it like the first 6 episodes, like, okay, yeah, this is cool. I'm really interested. I'm invested in the story. But then when episode 7, when he chooses to kill himself to save people that he cares about, even though they know nothing about him, and in like a previous loop they tortured him, he still chooses to save them and to hold on to the precious moments that he feels that he knows that he wants to get back. And that fucking hit, okay?
Yeah, I think that shows a testament to Subaru's like who he really is deep down. And this is before that episode, what was it? Episode 13, I believe. You know, before all that, it really does show like what his true nature is. So yeah, I could see that being like one hell of an impact. Alright, as an anime only, if I'm not mistaken, you get some special questions that are designed for y'all. So, as the question over here states, as an anime only, what are your predictions for season 3 so far? Like, what is something you want to predict?
Something I want to predict. I don't know, because like I have been, because I've also been reading at least some of the novels as I recorded.
True.
But I haven't read all of them, so.
I think the benefit is that, although, I mean, you're doing the Studio Reverie with Beatrice, so the old web novel stuff, but I can at least guarantee you that the light novels version, which is the anime, has some slight differences, so some things might catch you off guard.
Yeah. I guess my only prediction is that I hope they keep a particular moment in the anime.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty fine.
Well, kind of based on the trailers, I'm gonna say there's gonna be a lot of really big fights in the capital. But also I think Emilia's going to get a major arc. She is definitely due for one because she has had like mini arcs here and there, but no like huge major development on her own. All of it's been tied to Subaru and his arcs.
Wouldn't you say season 2, at least with the trials, would be her major arc without Subaru, per se?
So, the thing... She did have a pretty major development there, but I feel like it was either not the full extent of what she is going to do, like as far as her character development, or it just kind of... It was a precursor. It could just be a precursor to some major development that she's going to be getting in season 3. Another thing I'm predicting is some other major character arcs, like maybe we'll get some more about Garfield. I'm hoping we get some more backstory on Otto. I mean, we got a decent amount in season 2 for Otto, but like he's definitely gonna be getting some. He's gonna get the spotlight again. He has to. He's best boy. He is best
you want
boy.
Another big Otto moment.
Yes, I do. Fuck yes, I do.
All right, that is fair. That is fair enough. But okay.
But also, I feel like we're gonna be getting at least more information. Maybe not a whole arc, but more information about Ricardo and maybe even the one-armed guy, Al.
Okay. All right. Alrighty. And this question would be, if you weren't reading the web novel and doing all the studio reverie, would you consider reading the web novel or light novel?
Yes, I would.
But okay, I mean, those are the two. I mean, to be fair, you kind of delve in between the two, but you still lean more towards anime only. So these are like easy questions for you now that I think about it.
Oh yeah, I think I managed to get a full answer from my prediction. I kind of hope they explore Garfield's whole Garfield's backstory in the anime, because that's something I really enjoyed hearing when we were doing the live readings.
Okay, yeah, that'd be something.
So, the answer is yes and no. Yes, because the story is really good and I'm really enjoying it. But no, because sometimes descriptions of gore get me worse than seeing it. It's like a visceral reaction. I don't do gore, literary or otherwise.
Noted.
But
I think that's pretty justified. Though, I mean,
yeah,
you would be curious to see what craziness goes in the web novel / light novel version.
Oh, I would not be surprised, because the thing is, like, with all the Japanese media, the page tends to be gorier than the anime. By page, I mean light novel, web novel, manga, what have you. A good example of this is Black Butler. In the anime, they do show blood. They absolutely show blood. But it's worse in the manga. The funny thing is, I can actually handle mangas a lot better for some reason. I think it's because it's in black and white, and my brain has a harder time connecting the black color to blood. But I'm not too sure about the reasons yet. I should probably talk to somebody who actually knows brains and can figure that out for me. But, like, the written word always gets me worse or not always, it usually gets me worse than seeing an animated version of the blood.
Okay. I mean, I'll do this little fun fact and promotion to another YouTube channel.
Oh my gosh.
I do editing for Studio Reverie, and Studio Reverie has actually done readings of the web novel. And we've got them people who do the voices for different characters within the ReZero world. So if you ever just want to do it like an audiobook, you can always just have it there.
Honestly, I probably could. I probably could do that.
It would be for the web novel version. The anime follows the light novel version.
Gotcha.
So I think the web
So it
novel
is-
like rough draft, essentially.
Okay. So the web novel came before the light novel, and the web novel's like a rough draft, basically.
Yeah,
That's
that's
what
how,
you're saying.
That's how I like to say it, because
Okay.
it's a rough draft, but the light novel is more shortened down. A few things are cut out from the web novel and restructured, and then that's what the anime uses, and then the anime does its own cuts. But
Yeah. I mean, with the anime format, you have to do that sort of thing. It's just like with movies or TV going from the books.
yeah, and unfortunately, hell, the Hobbit did like 3 movies for 1 book.
Okay, to be fair, Tolkien wrote big books.
I'm just saying how impressive you can do 3 movies for 1 book. Just extending it to 3 movies. Like, my gosh, you are going above and beyond.
Okay, to be fair, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows was split into 2 movies, and I'm pretty sure Deathly Hallows was like the shortest book of the series.
Or
Or it was like the second shortest at least.
No, I would have thought that was the longest one.
Nope, the longest one I think was the first Harry Potter book. Of course, with the first Harry Potter book, a lot had to be explained.
That is fair. You know what? Comment down below on that. Comment down below
Yeah.
which one's the longest. I'm curious. I'll probably
Yeah.
figure it out after this, but
Yeah, probably.
future editor me, put which one's the longest right now. But
Oh yeah, for sure. I want to know.
But okay. Now, alright, we can go into the spoiler side of things, because this is for
Sweet.
light novel / web novel readers. And since you're definitely caught up with stuff, we can, or at least with most stuff, we can at the very least go with 2 special
I'm caught up.
questions.
I'm caught up to the latest chapter of the Witch Cult translations. I can't for the life of me do the Japanese to English translations because I can't tell who's speaking, and like sometimes character names are just like let's take this letter, another letter, throw it together. There's a character name. Like I don't know who's speaking.
Fair
So
enough,
I'm caught up to the latest chapter that was translated.
Okay, interesting. Alright then. Here's a question. How do you think the light novel / web novels compared to the anime adaptation? Like, more or less, what do you think of like the both versions, the written and the anime version?
I would say like how do I feel about them like adaptation wise, or like which one do I prefer?
We can go both ways.
I'll say for season 3 content, so arc 5, I actually prefer the light novel over the web novel for arc 5. Cause have you read the light novel for arc 5?
Yes, I've collected the books actually.
Yeah, because there's some really cool like original scenes that weren't in the web novel that I'm hoping we can see in the anime once we get to them. Like how like there was like the Council of 10 in for Stella, and it's hinted that Al killed 9 out of 10 of them, the last one being Kiritaka. And like the scene when they're trying to take back the city hall, I think is that scene with the city hall, and they actually flood that quarter of the city, and it's also hinted that Al might have been the one to flood it, and it just adds so much more like mystery and like questions to the series. And there's already enough of that, but you know, what's a few more?
Yeah, what's a few more mysteries to add into the experience of ReZero?
I certainly don't mind.
Okay. So, I actually think that the other anime adaptation, like as a one-to-one adaptation, that I don't think it's meant to be one-to-one. If the anime adaptation was one-to-one, I feel it would be really boring for the average like anime fan. And I think like especially like during a lot of season 2 moments, that's when it really felt one-to-one, and that's when I noticed a lot of people dropping the series. Like everyone who's already read it or just been like a big fan since they first saw it stuck around because they really like the story. But like just like the passive watcher, I understood that like it was just a lot of shot of one person talking, shot of other person talking, and especially like the camera work was really wonky during that season because it was made during COVID. So I understood the turn off, but coming back to the first season, I think that one was actually really well done because it was always moving, even if they were just talking. Like it was the way everything was happening, it was just always intense. So like the readers were like, or the watchers were never like turned away, and I thought that was a really good choice.
Okay. Yeah, I would believe. I kind of wonder what would have happened if COVID didn't hit. I wonder if season 2 would have improved, similar to season 1, just keep things moving, or would we have gone the same thing?
Yeah, that one's a bit rough considering I know the 4th arc is so much more lore heavy than the first 3 arcs of the series.
Yeah, not to mention for every Ram fan that suddenly had their waifu get completely written off the story in a sense. I think everyone was more focused on wanting that.
Okay, the Ram fans have to recover now. This is a very long road for Ram fans, especially after the way the 9th arc has started.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious how that's gonna play out, but
yeah,
The anime does its best to make sure there is as much included as possible. So I definitely give it props to that. But you could definitely tell that for both the sake of runtime and also just for the fact that there's only so much you can include, they obviously miss a couple of things here and there. But it's why I always like reading the light novels first, just to get the full whole story as the creator intended before seeing the anime and what would get cut out and stuff like that.
okay.
I think the anime is doing a fine job, adapting it for what it is, for how the effort it would take to adapt a story like ReZero with all of its idiosyncrasies, one could say, perhaps. Yeah, like definitely I do prefer the light novels / web novels, because I get because I have a pretty good imagination, so that shit it hits from the action, the drama, all the suffering and stuff. That shit it hits in my mind.
Yeah, makes sense.
I have a very weird going into with the web novel. So I haven't fully finished the web novel for arcs halfway through 2, 3, or 4. So currently I'm reading it as we read it live on Reverie. So I've read all of arc 1, and now I'm halfway through arc 2. I think the web novel Subaru was fucking awful. I think he was a miserable asshole, and if that's the Subaru they portrayed in the anime, I wouldn't have loved it as much. And I heard that the light novel did change him a bit. Teppei didn't know what he was doing with Subaru at the time. Even, I think there's been interviews where he's like, yeah, I went a little too hard at the beginning. The P arc is something I wish they added in from the web novel. Subaru having to piss in, I think it's the first loop in the mansion.
Yeah, it was the first
and
loop.
and he pees outside the library because he has to go. Fuck. So good. That I wish we kept, but... also the drinking element, of course, with censorship laws in Japan, good luck doing that. But I wish the anime kept that with Rom and Felt and Subaru drinking and just being plastered the first time he loops with Elsa. I think that would have been kind of funny, kind of good. But he's still very charming in the anime. I think overall, the anime makes some good strides with what was changed from the web novel to web novel to season 1. I haven't caught up with season 2 content yet. I am excited though. The rest of Arc 2 hasn't been fully translated. Connor is working on it right now from Studio Reverie, doing the rest. Everybody thinks it's like lame or whatever because the anime already exists, but we're really excited to do it. I think it'd be really fun. It's like another little passion project within Reverie. So I'm excited to see how that goes and see where we pick up. Thankfully, Arc 4 is fully done.
Yeah, I read through Arc 4 web novel, and I had a mistaken idea that that's what they were going to cover for the anime, so I completely... This was before I realized of the light novel. So when I fully read the web novel to prepare for season 2, I was so caught off guard by most of their choices that I kind of was dumbfounded at first before I kind of realized that they're following the light novel. But I can guarantee this: if season 2, like Arc 4, is considered the best, the web novel just beats it 5 times over the light novel and anime combined.
That's crazy. That's why I'm excited to read it. I think it's going to be so much fun. And I heard there's so many things that are missing, like Al. Al is something I learned from being an anime only into the web novel.
Yes. It's crazy that the terrible Prophecy of the Throne covers a cut content related to Al. It is so dumbfounding that...
Are you serious?
Yeah, I am not joking.
Does it lay it out for, like, Arc 7 and 8?
The way it was done, like in the light novel, like the loop where he gets Subaru gets like kicked out by Priscilla for being, well, how he was, like there was a cut conversation between Ao, Rem, and Subaru, and the fact that the game did that infuriates the hell out of me. But that's right, I heard about that. I
voice acted that one with Ed on his stream.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how, honestly, that game, my gosh, what a wasted potential. That's me being nice about it. But I did want to make a mention. I think he was trying to make Subaru like an asshole that's like supposed to die so he can humble himself. I think that was the goal. But I do think that Arc 2 took it a tad bit overkill.
Like he got weirdly sexually harassy. Like, not Daijoubu, not Subaru. That's not my Subaru. I don't claim that one. I don't like that one.
I'm thinking that perhaps when Rem dies in that whole him like jumping to die, maybe that in the Arc 2 version, maybe it's a little more impactful where he just realizes he's been a complete dick the whole time.
I sure hope so.
I think that's where Tappei was probably going, but because of how far he should have first laid the foundation for Subaru having redeeming qualities while also having those qualities before doing that, because otherwise it just is a bad light completely when he does that in the second arc of all things.
Absolutely. I mean, they seem to have fixed him up in the light novel pretty nicely, so it worked out, which is good. I heard, like, there's another version of the web novel that got, like, edited. I don't know if that's true or not. But, like, Teppei's biggest regret was that kind of route, so... But, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't blame him.
Yeah, so, I don't blame him either.
But I really... Personally, I see a lot of people being hard on the anime at times, which I feel like is fair, but also not fair. But not always as warranted. I think both are great. I like how the novel is structured. I don't think I've read a book with as many like pauses. Like the light novel does it with like numbered sections, and then the web novel normally has like a dots that separate the section. But it's very interesting in like the way it almost feels like reading scene breaks, in like you're watching a movie. And I really, in terms of the novels, I've always loved how they use the narrator in terms of like a third person limited point of view perspective. and how the narrator also can like fluidly switch between perspectives. Like one of my favorite examples of that being in Arc 3, when Subaru gets possessed by Betelgeuse. We're in Subaru's third person limited perspective, and we're hearing like the narrator talk about his thoughts and what he's seeing. And then Ferris comes over to talk to Subaru and to talk to Subaru and Wilhelm, and it very subtly swifts over to Ferris's perspective. And Ferris talking to Subaru, and then Ferris looking at Wilhelm, and then Wilhelm goes, "Where's Subaru?" And you're like, "Wait, I was just in his perspective." And then it says that Ferris looked there, and you're like, "Oh shit, no, I'm in Ferris's perspective now." And so there's other times in which Type A plays around with that, the way he uses the narrator. But I think it's one of the things that keeps the prose in it as enjoyable as it is, and allows for more interesting analysis, because you get to use both the thoughts in the character's head and the narrator to try and understand what the character's thinking. But with the anime, it does a great job in like adapting like the feeling of the scene and being able to it ends up cutting out like certain lore and like specific bits. It's able to keep what is important to how that scene is supposed to make you feel and how that scene is supposed to flow, and use the visual storytelling that they have to be able to get it, to be able to show that. Watching the anime as many times as I have, there's so many little bits of like characters making facial expressions to reacting to certain things, or the way that they're standing, or the way that the camera is showing, to be able to show things that would be stated out loud in the novel through the narration, but without the narration but they're still able to put that in without the narration. It's really cool. I really like it.
All right, that's good. That's cool. That's an interesting analysis, honestly. But okay, now here goes this one. Anything you wish they had included that was cut in the anime?
Yeah, this one is quite literally with 99% of the anime adaptation community and wishes. I never understand why the hell Al being from Japan was cut. That is the stupidest cut I've ever seen in anime. I did not get that in the slightest. I was so confused. This is gonna, once again, now, season 3 is in like, what, 2 months now? This is when we slowly start getting down to the meat of a lot of the characters who are from like every single camp, because they all come together. And even in, I don't know, but I'm assuming in the first episode, they're probably not going to cover it. So
I would genuinely be surprised if they don't actually acknowledge it at some point, even if it's in random dialogue. That honestly breaks the flow. They need to address it. It's an important plot point.
If this isn't addressed, I feel especially something coming from the season after this. It just needs to be set up somewhere. If not in season 3, season 4 needs it addressed somewhere. I don't care if it's a side story OVA. I don't care if like the OVA gets adapted. I just need some sort of like, and I don't want it to just be, yes, this is the story. Oh yes, Aldebaran's from Japan. Like, I can't have that happening. It's just such a passing comment. No one's gonna care.
That would be the most lackluster way to reveal something like that.
Al. Every scene with Al. It did my boy so dirty. Him and Priscilla, because they cut like Priscilla's like her entire like character introduction in the carriage, and like that scene was so like It's so good. I still love reading it in the light novel. One of my favorite parts of Volume 4.
Yeah, you want to know what's crazy? Prophecy of the
What?
Throne did that scene. Like they
Yeah,
legit.
it has like with like the REM scene.
Yeah, the Rem, Al, and Subaru scene, a different context, but they did the scene, and that is so baffling to me.
Yeah.
The one only good thing that that game ever did, but that's a side point.
Any mention of Al being from Japan? Honestly, that was such a big, like, what the fuck moment when I started doing the web novel readings. I'm sure they're gonna figure out a way to do it in the anime. They have to at this point. I don't know much about Arc 7, 8, or 9, but I know he's a big player because Twitter fucking sucks. So they're gonna have to if he's this big of a guy.
Well, considering...
Briefly explain it.
Yeah, I mean, considering Arc 9 does seem to look like Al might be the antagonist, or something around those lines.
Wait, don't get too far in. Don't get too far in with that.
I say seems because I can't tell what the hell is going on. I'm just spoiled. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna say
Yeah, okay.
allegedly, because you never know. Tappe can throw
You
some
never
random curveball out of nowhere.
God damn.
But, yeah, the Al stuff...
Yeah,
backtrack.
that's my big thing.
Yeah, backtracking again. The video game showed it for some reason, and the
Yeah.
anime did it. That is
Bullshit.
that is more than bullshit. That's just absurd.
So far, just from the anime so far, I'm kind of fine as it is. There wasn't anything big or just out there that I really feel like that should have been included. I mean, if you just want to go into optional territory, it would have been cool if they had animated the if side stories for the routes that have already been kind of completed so far.
I think the only one you could say that's complete is Pride If, and maybe Wrath If.
Well, I mean, they already passed the point of Sloth If, so...
That is true. Sloth If is more or less its own direction, so it wouldn't spoil anything in terms of big. But, yeah, I see your point. Like, I mean, me personally, I think cutting Al being from a different world feels a bit off. But that's just a personal thing.
I think the biggest one is the knowledge that Satella and the Witch of Envy are kind of two different people. Or, like, that Satella has, like, not actually, but like a split personality due to her witch factor. That like little bit, that like single line of dialogue completely alters the way you look at that character. And it's just it's just insane to not have it.
I feel like, yeah, because without that, it completely shifts the entire story in a different direction. Because having that information known gives the viewers this thing that, oh, so she isn't evil, it's just her witch factor is not compatible to hers, which kind of broke her mind into multi-personality disorder. I think that would be the best way to put it.
Because for me, it actually did the opposite for me. Before that, I became a conspiracy theorist. I'm like, actually, none of the stuff about the Witch of Envy is true. Because I know the stuff about her eating all the witches, that ain't true because they're all here. The stuff about the mob beasts, her creating all the witch beasts, isn't real because we found out that that was Daphne. So, obviously, none of it is true. All of it is fake. Everything is a conspiracy, and I went a little crazy with that. Because I find historical revisionism in story, like, put into stories to be really cool and interesting, and so I kept looking for aspects of that. And once the book said, oh yeah, think of them as like kind of two different entities in the same body, it became, oh okay, so some of it's probably true. The almost destroying the world thing is probably true. It just became exacerbated over time in what was said to be her.
I think it follows the same thing, like, those that live within it know a specific history, but as time passes on, only, like, the big things or like remember, not necessarily the little details that make a lot of difference.
Definitely, the scene where Satella is basically giving the speech to Subaru after like episode 16 of season 2. I don't remember which episode it was, but it's when all the witches were in the tea party, and she basically tells Subaru that her and the Witch of Envy aren't the same person. That I think that was a very important scene. Very like they probably didn't know season 3 was greenlit yet, so they're like, maybe we shouldn't add it, maybe we should. And they went with the former, but I wish they would kind of stick to the guns a little more on cutting stuff like that. I'm hoping the new director will be a little more like let's like not cut foreshadowing, because it sounds like he really wants to get ReZero like back in the limelight, like season 4, season 5, blah blah blah. How many more we can get? And so I'm hoping he really like starts cutting back on the cutting, if that's funny to say.
That is a funny way to say it. I agree. I think that completely, because it changes the way the story is now interpreted. Because now you know that, well, you have Satella and you have the Witch of Envy. They're essentially separate entities, just with the same body, which turns into a moral dilemma now.
Yeah, and she's basically telling Subaru to kill her, and so it's like, oh, dude, does he kill her to save her from the Witch of Envy's evil grasp, or does he like try to save her like he always tries to?
Yeah, it brings a lot of things into the table. Yeah, that's interesting.
There's also another scene, if I remember correctly. There's nothing too major, but it was really cool for little lore tidbits. In that, like in episode 18, when Puck is talking to Subaru, he mentions Echidna by name to Betelgeuse, and he gets Betelgeuse gets so angry hearing that name. And it's like whoa, like what happened there? And now that like in the season 2 of Break Time, we can see that Betelgeuse knew Echidna and Beatrice. So I wonder if something happened that like twisted his thoughts on her.
I mean, his thoughts were already all over the place after
fair enough
accidentally killed Fortuna, but that and Pandora manipulation. But I think that's just reminding him of stuff he doesn't want to probably remember. But that is an interesting cut. I don't think many people would really think on, because if I'm not mistaken, I think Betelgeuse said that he doesn't want to hear about the old witches, that the Witch of Envy is the only one that matters.
Yeah, he's basically like, I'm only interested in resurrecting the witch, like with a capital W. So he has no interest in the other 6 witches. He's only interested in bringing Satella back.
Yeah, but all right. For the final question now, what are you most looking forward to in season 3?
Ooh, what? That's a good question. I think I'm really kind of looking forward to the more shonen style fights, but I think the thing I'm looking forward to most is just more character development, because this series is really based around character development, and that's how it moves itself forward, and that's a really unique way to do it, because rather than just focusing on 1, maybe 3 characters like most animes do, it focuses kind of on everybody.
Alrighty then. And I'd assume you're excited for more Auto.
Oh, of course. I'm always excited for more Auto.
I just Arc 6. It's gonna be it's just, all of it's gonna be really enjoyable. I don't know. The wedding scene specifically. There's an animatic of it on YouTube, and I watch it every once in a while, I'm like, oh, this is so good. And then so I guess that one, yeah, no, it's just all of it, just.
Just all of it. Looking forward to everything. That's actually not a bad look, considering Arc 5 and 6 are like where a new phase starts, a more interesting one.
Actually, being able to watch other people's reaction to it, that's gonna be great.
Alright.
Being able to sit there smiling, watching other people experience all of this for the first time while I know everything. That's gonna be fun. That's gonna be funny.
I think that's always fun.
The obvious answer would be the Subaru speech. Like that's just a given. I'm pretty sure like everybody's excited for that. I'm just excited to see how the director and the animators and especially the music for the scene where Subaru encounters the quote-unquote fake Subaru, like the amnesiac Subaru. I'm looking forward to seeing how they deal with that. I'm looking forward to all like the foreshadowing that they might drop in, because I think Tape is still supervising the production. I'm excited. I can't wait to see what they come up with for Al's isekai status, because they cut that out, which is I should have said that. They shouldn't have cut Al saying that. That's so detrimental. Probably the most detrimental one. I'm looking forward to seeing how they explain that, though.
Yeah, I mean, they have to acknowledge it at some point. They can't just.
Yeah, especially if we go into arcs like 7 and 8, like it's really important because him and Subaru have a lot of like similar styles of speech, and they both like use Japanese sayings together, and so like if they never explain that, everyone's gonna be speculating like, is Al from Japan? Like, what the hell's going on? And everyone's like, yeah, I mean, they explained that way back in season 1 of the light novels, but they cut it so you wouldn't know.
Yeah, that I will have to agree.
This has a lot. Assuming Arc 6, based on like the little season 3 key visual in front of me, assuming Arc 6 is included in the season 3's adaptation somewhere down the line, maybe next year, literally any scene with Shola. But if we're coming down to the more like holistic and realistic Arc 5, scenes I want to see adapted: Regulus Reinhard fight 100%.
Oh yeah.
But just out of curiosity to see how everything's done, I want to see how the Capella scene is shot, and just like done, because especially like during like the first scene with like walking into the radio building, and then Subaru walking into that room and seeing like all the bugs and like dragon creatures. I really hope that I'm hoping Kenichiro Suhiro cooks a soundtrack for that. I remember earlier in the year he posted some of the soundtracks, and one of them's called Capella. So I'm really hoping he cooks.
Oh man,
I need it. I need the shock factor to be real.
That's giving me like Betelgeuse vibes when we first meet him in the cave with the interesting OST they went. Man, I don't know how they're gonna go for Capella. That's gonna have to be like very intense.
Yeah, it will have to be very intense. I feel it will also be like very like childish, maybe very fast paced. I feel for a character like that, especially during her speech. But yeah,
all
that
right.
about sums it up for my answer.
Almost everything, pretty much.
Yep, just more ReZero.
Yeah, more ReZero, more Return by Death, more. We need to bring that back. I don't know. We need to bring it back.
That OST. That's so funny. Yeah, we gotta bring that back at some point. That'll be fun to hear that classic. But
sorry.
No, you go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Because I know they did like I just noticed that they did a new art style for season 3, so can't wait to see how that looks compared to the previous seasons.
I feel like season 2 got done dirty because of COVID, because it could have looked a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I agree. I think season 3's art style is probably gonna be the most interesting one.
In season 3.
Yes.
I'm most looking forward to seeing like when the end of volume 22. One of the biggest cliffhangers in ReZero to date.
I think I know what you're referencing. Yep. I think that'll completely
For like the next week straight, I will be doing nothing but watching reaction channels and seeing that scene. That's gonna be hype.
I can imagine those reaction channels just like, what? Like, I can just see them just going all bonkers.
There are a few reaction channels that I desperately, I just need to see how they react to it. It's gonna be awesome.
Definitely the sword fights. I'm not gonna like go into complete spoiler territory with this, but I'm very much looking forward to the sword fights because it's probably gonna be the most Sukuga filled versions of it, and definitely something that that's definitely gonna go crazy.
All right, interesting.
Getting season 3. Oh my gosh. I think my favorite moment will. Oh, which one? There's so many. One, I'm excited to see Tricia Van Estrella fully animated. I'm gonna cry. I am very excited to see Capella. I want to see her animated. I want to see how she looks as a dragon, because there's some parts where I didn't understand when she switched forms, like how that works. So having that visual aid will help me so much. Also, I love her. I am biased now that I voice her as well.
Makes sense.
I'm excited also to see how the community grows. I'm very, very hopeful that we're going to see an uptick in ReZero fans. I might be a rare one to believe that, but I am hopeful because I would love to see some new ReZero people. I've been seeing a huge increase since season 3 has been announced, and like Reverie's garnered a lot more attention since then too. So I have a feeling we're going to see a new generation of ReZero fans, and I'm very here for that.
Yeah, I'm actually quite excited to see new faces in the community.
Yeah.
Especially
New blood.
Especially in YouTube. I feel bad for everyone who got screwed over by Katakawa in season 2.
Yes, there's a lot behind that besides just Katakawa, but that will not be spoken here. But I can assure you there are multiple things at play.
Yeah.
But those who remain have just think about those who've remained. And that is where I will end that.
I think I only got lucky. They just got mad at me for using footage. Like, I just had to do screenshots, and I was so mad.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, yes, I'm talking with my friends. We're doing reviews together. But I hate the screenshot method. It's so boring in editing.
Oh, it is. I am so thankful the last chapter I didn't get hit for the Tricia flip. I was worried, but I slowed that shit down. I grained. I like vinaigrette.
Well, it's.
I have no idea how to say.
It's transformative in the
Yeah.
sense of YouTube. So.
Yes.
That's more or less as much as we can go on that.
Exactly. We went hard on that.
Still an amazing chapter. Go see it, everyone. I'm posting the link below for it.
Oh, thank you. I've like dropped it 6 fucking times. I'm so sorry. That's just been my life for the past 3 weeks. It's fine.
Alrighty, Kyles.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you so much, Greeny. I'm sorry I yapped so much. That's gonna be such a bitch to edit.
Nah, all good. All good. Well then, thank you for doing this, MegaZero. I really much appreciate it. And like I said, go read his fanfic. Dude really needs a little more attention. It is underrated, and it needs more eyes on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty. I haven't updated like I said, in a long time, but there's just a lot of personal issues that have just been preventing me from getting out there and just updating.
Yeah, I honestly understand that. But your Rigel-If is still pretty cool.
Thank you.
Well then, thank you, Proof. Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
But alrighty, thank you so much for doing this.
Oh, thank you for having me. Hopefully, I was able to answer to the best of my abilities.
Thank you so much for doing this with me. It's much
no
appreciative. Appreciated.
Yeah, no problem. It was fun as.
But alrighty, thank you so much for doing this. Much appreciated.
No problem.
Really. But okay, well that concludes the little Q&A. Thank you so much for participating in it. It's really much appreciative.
It was very cool.
But alrighty, Viney, thank you so much for doing this. Really appreciate
Oh yeah.
it. And go
Yeah, for sure.
subscribe to her. Like literally go subscribe to her.
Heck
She's cooking
yeah.
up some stuff.
I am grilling over here.